one sense, it will be easier for him, but in another sense, it's going to be a very traumatic transition, I think. So I've been kind of praying and quite taken by it.
Pope Francis just completed the first Holy Week of his young papacy, and on Easter, he was welcomed in St. Peter's Square by enthusiastic pilgrims. Holy Week in 2013 came on the heels of one of the most extraordinary transitions in the history of the Catholic Church. The upheaval began with the February 11th announcement that Pope Benedict XVI would resign.
A surprise, like thunder that gives no notice that it's coming.
At first I thought it was an onion story that had gone terribly awry.
No one saw it coming, but at the same time, I trust his judgment.
What would it mean for the Catholic Church to have its leader resign, something that hadn't occurred in more than 600 years? How would the Church exist with two living popes? I
think he'll be invisible. I think he will lead the life of a monk of prayer and study.
There is no danger that Pope Benedict will become a problem for that Pope, certainly not. Perhaps if he were a politician who was removed by maneuvers, perhaps the successor would be afraid. In this case, not so.
When Pope Benedict left, it was an emotional ending to his nearly 8-year pontificate. The world's cardinals journeyed to Rome, charged with the task of electing a new pope.
We are focused on the main challenges of the Church, and then who could be the person to answer to those challenges.
You look for a man with some pastoral competency, and you look for a man with good leadership sense.
Argentine Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio emerged onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica as the new pope. His chosen name is Francis. It's the first time a Latin American or a Jesuit has been elected pope, and it's the first time a pope has taken the name of the poor man from Assisi.
Our new pope, Pope Francis, I believe chose the name out of divine inspiration. In his own life, as priest, as servant, as bishop, and lately as cardinal, he served the poorest of the poor, like many others in our times.
In the first days of his pontificate, Pope Francis brought his sense of simplicity to the papacy.
Pope Francis is bringing a different way of being pope to the universal church. He is the church's face of the poor. He is a man who stands with the poor. And don't forget, he has taken a vow of poverty, unlike most of the cardinals who voted and unlike previous popes, and he lives that vow of poverty. Now, how much he'll be able to do this in this rather opulent setting of the Vatican remains to be seen, but so far he seems to be taking steps to, downplay the trappings of the papacy and be as down-to-earth as possible.
The new pope also has shown a desire to be in touch with people, spiritually and physically.
Each of the last two popes, as reflected in his chosen name, has drawn particular inspiration from a founder of one of the Church's great religious families. On the one hand, St. Benedict of Nursia, the founder of Western monasticism. On the other hand, the saint from Assisi. So in this latest papal succession, we see an especially vivid example of the Church's great genius for unity and diversity, its ability to draw on highly distinctive gifts of the faithful in response to the particular needs of different places and times, in a dynamic cycle of reform and renewal that has been going on for 2,000 years.